Sitting down and chatting with our athlete of the week, Jordan Reed, once again is earning the honor. And Jordan, normally we see the sophomores taking over this role a ton, but you've seen the freshmen kind of step up on the team this year and kind of take up some of the limelight. Even though, like as a sophomore, you kind of want to be like the voice of the team. It's got to be kind of nice to see the freshmen that have really kind of stepped up and jumped into that role.
Yeah, it's always good to see the freshmen step up. I feel like especially with this team, we have a lot of freshmen who can carry the team sometimes, and just being able to see them do that takes a lot of pressure off my shoulders, and I'm always glad to see those guys be successful in what they're doing.
That's what I love about this team is everybody wants to succeed. But this week, you do get back into that spot, a 22-point game, and then I believe it was a 17-point game you had on the other one. But how did you feel about your play kind of this week as we get into the end of the regular season?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I'm back to 100%. I was dealing with a little injury that was kind of bothering me mentally, but I feel like I'm back and I'm just ready to get to it and bring what I can to the table.
We were just kind of talking a little bit about just you last year to you this year. If you could go back and talk to freshman Jordan Reed, what would that conversation be like now as far as where you've come from there and what you would tell him as far as what the future was going to hold for him?
Just being confident and understanding who you are. Just stand true to yourself and continue to put the work in and know that it's going to get you somewhere.
When you talk about that, your role also has kind of changed a little bit on the team as it's gone on because you're still that number one point guard, but Davion has really stepped up to become more of a game manager out there on the court. What do you see the most that he's been able to pick up from you and even just pick up for himself?
Really just controlling the tempo. I feel like there are some times where we're going too fast. I would even say sometimes he's better at slowing the tempo down than me. Just because for me, I'm trying to go score. But yeah, there's sometimes I feel like he does a great job of slowing the tempo down and controlling the team and calling some different plays to change it up. So yeah, I feel like that's something he does well.
Well, and also on your side of thing, how much has it been nice to be able to kind of step back and let others kind of take over? You mentioned being injured and not having that pressure on yourself to be able to let yourself get back into that proper headspace because that's incredibly important, I'm sure.
Yeah. It feels good. I thank my team a lot for just being able to carry the load while I was going through a lot of stuff. And, yeah, I feel like it's made us better as a team, and we are closer together now.
Talk about your game. Where do you feel the most comfortable? Because you can shoot the three, obviously. I mean, a 3 for 8 over the weekend from deep. But really, your drives to the hoop have really become almost flawless and seamless at some point in time. Whenever you want to, you can seem to go. Not every time, obviously. Once they catch on, they start putting the second guy up there. But when you got that one-on-one, you seem to be able to get to the hoop. Where do you feel your game has really stepped up the most?
Really in that part. I would say as a freshman, I didn't really have confidence of getting to the hoop. So now just being able to use my body and use my strength to be able to get to the rim basically whenever I want is big. And it also brings the defense in a lot so that my shooters could get going and do what they do.
That's the other nice thing is you've been able to really develop that court vision. Has that been something that's helped out with you of actually having options on the outside to get the ball out to, like Pedro, Phoenix, Davion, and EJ?
Yep, definitely, because those are guys I trust in, and I know they're going to make their shots, so might as well get it out to them.
Now, you end up with the 4 seed. So you guys get a home game coming up on Saturday, actually. Women will be playing on Friday. What's it mean to be able to have back-to-back home games in that opening round of the postseason, especially in a tough region like the North?
It's good just to have your crowd watch you and play in a gym that it's always good to just be able to keep your rhythm going because guys are able to get the confidence, shooting a gym that they've been shooting in all year and just keep their confidence high to move on to the later rounds.
It's almost deja vu this year in the postseason as well because last year it was Western Wyoming that came to town for that opening round game. This year, the exact same thing. And I know people want to put Casper as kind of that number one rival, but Western, there's a little bit of kind of an extra beef there.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many guys that have played against each other so many times that eventually you kind of got to – you're going to have some beef in there. And especially for me, those are guys I played against in high school. So it's even bigger to beat them every time. Yeah.
This year's team also is, I think last year you came into the postseason and weren't an underdog. You guys weren't necessarily the top dog in the region, but you guys had confidence behind you. This year it feels like you guys have kind of slipped, not underdog role again, but not necessarily as confidence. The rest of the region, when they look at you, they don't necessarily see the team as last year. Is that a good spot to be coming into the postseason in?
I would say yeah. For me, I feel like we could shock a lot of teams, and that's big. That brings a lot of confidence, and that brings you a lot of adrenaline going into them later rounds where you feel tired or you feel like you don't have that push. Just having that mental that everybody's like hating on you, it can take you to big places.
The physicality of this team has been something else that's kind of stepped up a little bit as far as just trying not to get pushed around out there on the court. Where's the team picked up that kind of the extra dog in you?
Really just from coaching. I would say KB every time is like, you gotta take it personal. You gotta actually know that these guys, like, it's kind of bigger than basketball. Like, if you're getting punked out there, it says something about your personality. So just hearing that all the time, you take it in and you're like, nah, I can't let this guy just score on me. Like, if he does score, it's gonna have to be something that's rough or like something that's not as easy for him to do. So just hearing that all the time, I think that's played a big part in what we're able to do now.
Couple more weeks left in the season until you figure out what that national tournament picture is going to look like. But beyond all of that stuff, this is your last year here at L Trip. You got a chance to move on to the next level. What's the goal as far as that goes? I know it's too early to necessarily be looking at specifics for it, but what are some of the things you want to find in a school when you go on?
Really just D1. For me, I'm not really a picky person, so I don't really care where I play at. But yeah, really just D1. And I mean, if that's not the case, that's okay. But that's my main goal, just go D1.
Definitely always a great goal, and definitely can see that for you as well. And with that being said, is there a school that you kind of like circled as like dream school? Like if they came calling, then we ain't even talking to the rest. Yes, send me the letter.
Oh, definitely. I think everybody has to have a dream school. I would say for me, it's always been Kansas. Kansas is somewhere I can see myself just because of how fast they play and the gym and how loud it is. Yeah, I would love to be in a situation like that.
Well, hopefully we'll see you moving on, being a Jayhawk at some point. That would crush me. But I'll have to put on some of that red and blue for you if you do that. But Jordan Reed, definitely going to be moving on to the next level. Fantastic athlete here at the school, and we're looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the Golden Eagles making some noise here in the Region 9 tournament.
Yeah, thank you.